10 Best AEW Heel Turns.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Soheb and you are watching Wrestling Fact.
Number 10. Matt Hardy. When Matt Hardy debuted in AEW, he brought with him a new character to the Broken Universe. This new essence was named Damascus and was effectively a robot of the old Broken Matt Hardy's essence, Zenith. When Matt Hardy turned heel, he did so by changing his essence from Damascus to Big Money Matt, the swaddling, arrogant businessman. His two prodigies, Mary Cunan and Aish Cassidy of Private Party, turned heel with him. Since turning, Matt Hardy created the HFO stable of his most known for his dragged out feuds and repetitive promos. Hopefully, we see a new instance from him soon. Number 9. QT Marshall. The former friend of Cody Rhodes and tag team partner Dusty Rhodes turned heel by creating his own faction called the Factory. Of the group consists of Aaron Solo, Nick Cambolto, and former Olympic boxer Anthony Ogogo. The group started with some decent hit and momentum. Their continuous losses to the Nightmare family combined with their lackluster charisma have greatly lowered their value to the AEW roster. Number 8. The Gun Club. When Billy Gunn came to AEW, he brought his sons Austin and Colton with him. The trio initially started as a part of Cody Rhodes' Nightmare family. They didn't have any especially notable feud during their face turn, but Austin and Colton were able to gain some experience in the ring. The trio turned heel when Billy Gunn hit Paul White with a steel chair. Since then, they've been on a comedic heel turn, featuring a social media feud with Thanusen, whose debut Austin and Colton, the Ass Boys. Number 7. Serena Deep. Serena Deep is arguably the most technically proficient women's wrestler in AEW. Before their heel turn, she didn't have much of a gimmick besides the fact that she is a technical wrestler and yoga teacher. After turning heel, through Deep has dubbed herself as a professor of professional wrestling, and a packed nickname considering her Western status. During her heel turn, Deep has featured more painful looking submission that make her matches more excited. She does have a considerable lack of charisma, through which makes her character difficult to appreciate outside the ring. Number 6. Taz. When AEW started, Taz was a play-by-play commentator. After Brian Cage debuted his AEW, Taz took on the role of the Machine's new manager. He named Cage the inaugural AEW FTW champion and the first member of Team Taz. Taz faction now constitutes of Will Hobbs, Ricky Stark, and Taz's sons Hook. They are a defined fan favorite of the AEW faction to the point where they may not be heels much longer. Number 5. Will Hobbs. Before he joined the Team Taz, Will Hobbs was a student of Cody Rhodes and the Nightmare Factory. Betraying Cody is arguably the best things Hobbs has done in his AEW career so far. His freedom him from was pretty blocked mid-card stable and give him a more featured spot alongside some very popular stars. Since Brian Cage was kicked out of Team Taz, Hobbs has become the resident beefcake of the group. He plays this part extremely well and give a nice balance to
The experience of Ricky Stark and Hook.
Number 4. Anna Jay. A few may remember Anna Jay's AEW debut. She was originally called the star of the show and wore what looked like a magician outfit. It was a cute gimmick but a pretty generic one. Joining Dark Order brought out a more brutal side of Anna Jay and greatly elevated her status in the company. Now Anna Jay and the Dark Order are beloved babyface, but her time on the dark side of definitely allowed Anna Jay to grow more comfortable in the ring and behind the scenes. Number 3. Britt Baker. Of all people in AEW who's turning heel, Britt Baker arguably needed in the most. Her performance in the ring were pretty average and her whole character was fairly bland. If Baker was going to be a top star of the women's division, like AEW clearly wanted her to be, something had to change. Britt Baker turned heel in early 2020, debuting a new cocky attitude and aggressive in-ring style throughout AEW's style in Daily's place. Baker and got better even through injuries. He violent feuds with Big Swole and Thunder Rosa made her the star that AEW hoped she would be. Number 2. The Young Bucks. While the most restless turned heel out of anger, the Young Bucks did so out of an almost tragic sense of loyalty. They were former tag team champions, so their turn wasn't done for the sake of winning gold. Rather, they turned heel by choosing to stand by Kenny Omega's side, as they have since 2015. Kenny at this point was former world champion and always complimented by his manager Don Callis through the Bucks dispute calls and disapproved of his and Kenny's new way of doing things. They give into the Canadians guilt trapping and eventually impressed their heel side. Number 1. Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is undoubtedly the ace of AEW, whether he is face or a heel. His heel turn through signified the beginning of a new era for the cleaner. After a month-long fall from grace where Kenny lost his tag team championship with Hangman Page, his closest friend and the majority of his confidence, Kenny listened to the guidance of Don Callis. Shortly after turning heel, Kenny became world champion. With the help of Cole's nephew's tactics, he would go on to climb the Impact title while also holding the AAA title. This championship and his series of incredible defense made Kenny's heel turn even rather proof that Omega is one of the best in the world has ever seen.